actually have two stories, and these are some listener submitted stories as well, so these are super fun to share with you guys. So, the first story today comes from a listener named Marina. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. My apologies if I am not. So, this story actually happened to Marina as a baby, and her mom has often told her this story over the years. So, when Marina was still young, her mom co-slept with her for a while, and eventually her mom made the decision to allow Marina to sleep in her own crib in order for her to gain a bit of independence. At this time, Marina and her mother lived with her grandparents, and Marina's grandmother was known to spoil her and take extra good care of her. So when Marina was allowed to sleep in her own crib, Marina's mother specifically told the grandmother that Marina would most likely cry and throw a fit at first, but that they would not go in and rock Marina or comfort her, but instead they would allow her to kind of self-soothe and comfort herself and see if that worked. Marina's grandmother agreed to this, and so Marina was put to bed in her own crib. At first, when Marina was put to bed alone, she cried and cried as expected. But Marina's mother held strong and did not go in to comfort her at the time. Marina's mother was in her own room when she began to hear the singing of an older woman, and she heard Marina stop crying and drift off to sleep. Marina's mother was, of course, very angry, assuming that the grandmother had gone she should not have gone camping alone without having someone know her exact locations where she was planning on spending each night. It was on the second day of Allison's hike when she decided to set up camp for the night beside a rock outcropping. Along the trail that day, Allison had seen a handful of other people, but they were mostly older people, and she did not seem too concerned about any of them, so Allison was not really worried about her safety at all. However, as Allison was setting up her camp for the night, she got the sense that someone was watching her from the woods. Allison looked around. It was still daylight out, but she wasn't able to spot anyone, so she continued to set up for camp and settled down for the night. At this point, Allison was feeling a bit unsettled, but, since she didn't see anybody out there, she did not want to cut her camping trip short, so she chose to stay there on her own. She thought it would be completely fine. Around 1 a.m. in the morning, Allison woke up to footsteps outside of her tent. She lay there for a moment, so terrified that she was unable to move. She continued to hear noise and footsteps outside. Allison decided that while whoever it was outside was making noise, she was going to try to make a run for it away from whoever it was. So Allison quietly put on her boots and jacket while they were outside making noise, and she grabbed her machete and cell phone. She quickly unzipped the tent and took off running into the woods. Allison then heard voices yelling behind her, and suddenly she felt someone grab the back of her jacket. Allison swung her arm that had the machete, and she must have made contact or hit something, because whoever had grabbed onto her jacket instantly let go. After this, Allison continued to run, and the next thing she remembers is sitting next to a tree holding her phone. She had dropped the machete at some point, and she was unsure as of where. But luckily, Allison's phone had just enough service for her to get into contact with the park rangers, and they were able to determine where she was located. The park rangers went out and met Allison, and she showed